All right, and we are live.
Almost,
What's
almost, almost, almost. It's connecting to YouTube Studio. Come on, OBS. Come on, OBS. Little engine that could.
I
And
guess that's your way of entertaining the people because we're definitely live over here.
okay.
We're
Wait.
live on my end too.
And we're live on my end, episode 3.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of your podcast, where we don't like to be on time and be disgruntled. Welcome to episode 3. Very kind of exciting episode. A little subtle. How's everybody this weekend? Let's start with Mr. Wreck Wizard. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, dude. Had a family barbecue yesterday and hung out with a lot of friends and my wife's coworkers, and it was a good time, dude. But I was up super late, so tired, running a little behind this morning. But everything was good, man. This week was good. Got some good pickups, got some cool stuff to talk about, so I'm excited.
Awesome. Mr. Black Ranger himself. How you doing?
I am fantastic. Super tired. I've had about 6 hours of sleep since like Thursday, so I'm running on fumes over here, but doing pretty good. Glad to be back finally from traveling and doing all that stuff. So I'm just ready to get to your podcast and your ideas. That's my guy.
That was funny. AK, what's up? What's up with you?
What's up, gang? So I'm doing pretty good. I had again a pretty busy weekend. I did get some pickups though that I'll be sharing some of them right now, but not all of them. I'll wait. I'll push that back to another week because a little bit at a time. But yeah, other than that, doing pretty well.
Okay, great. So we're gonna start off this week's episode talking about kind of where we left off last week. We're gonna talk about Game Pass and how the prices are going up. AK, you want to take the lead on that one?
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, last week Xbox raised their, Game Pass prices. So the prices are now as follows. So new member prices hike will go up July 10th, and existing members will see their prices rise on September 12th. Game Pass Ultimate will pay $20, and that goes up from $17. US subscribers to Game Pass Core will pay $75 for a 12-month subscription, up from $60, with the per month cost remaining at $10 for those not buying the annual deal. The price for PC Game Pass will go up from $10 to $12. And the company also added a new Game Pass option, which is Xbox Game Pass Standard, which will cost about $15 per month. And that will be available in the coming months. So yeah, that's all the changes and stuff that they're making. So yeah, how do you guys feel about that?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, French.
I'll jump in there. Being that I'm the one who doesn't have Xbox Game Pass at all, it actually is a great service, and the price hikes aren't that much of a jump. But when you look at it over the long run, how they've been slowly increasing the prices incrementally, it's like, where are you guys trying to go from here? Um, like the original, like you said, the year pass $60. That isn't that bad. That's what the Nintendo Switch Online is, but you really do get a lot more with the Xbox Game Pass. So I could understand them, hiking that price up from there, and even the monthly subscription, it's not too bad. But over time, everyone's going up. This inflation stuff is killing everybody. Not just Xbox Game Pass going up now, Netflix going up, and Spotify, and Hulu, and everything. So everybody's trying to increase these prices, but if you're going to increase the prices, what am I getting for that increase? Don't just increase to be like, well, we just want to keep up with the Joneses. If I'm still get the same amount of stuff and you're not putting anything extra in it, don't increase it. At least give me a little added something if you're going to keep increasing my price.
Well, Sam's Club cafe prices are still the same. So shout out to Sam's Club.
Facts. Arizona's are still 99 cents.
Oh man, I found them for 68 cents the other day. I was like, damn, I gotta get 2 of these motherfuckers. Oh, sorry. sorry, excuse my language, excuse my French, no pun intended.
Cut it out. All right, what you think about that, Rick?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. you know, growing up having like Xbox Live, you know, I would always buy the yearly thing or whatever, and so it was always like $60 a year for Xbox Live. And I feel like with Game Pass, you're getting Xbox Live plus so much more, right? Like you're getting tons and tons of awesome games. I really don't think $20 a month is super unreasonable, especially because we are moving in that, you know, digital age of games and movies and music. So physical media is dying, but you get a real good like bang for your buck, in my opinion. Now I know that I heard that in the future they're going to stop including like AAA first party titles and stuff like that because they lose money on it, which, you know, it was fun while it lasted. I don't know when that would actually happen, but you know, I don't know, man. $17 a month to $20 a month, it's $3 more per person. You know, right now I believe Xbox has about 34 million subscribers on Game Pass. So, you know, they bump it up $3 more a month. You know, let's say, you know, what's, you know, 34 times 3, you know, it's another over $100 million a month that they're going to generate in revenue. Look, I don't want Game Pass to go away. So if they have to bump it up a couple dollars, I totally get it. And I mean, if you're only spending, like, how much is the yearly going up from? It's going from 60 to 75.
Like a
Ooh.
certain increase.
Yeah, it's
Per year.
going up to 75.
Yeah, so for $15 more a year, I mean, we've all been paying $60 a year for Xbox Live anyway since the mid 2000s. So
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal to pay $15 more when I've been paying $60 since 2005 or 2006, whenever Xbox Live came out on the 360, and I was paying that yearly fee. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's a crazy deal. I get it. I get people aren't excited to pay more for anything, especially in this economy. But at the end of the day, I know that Game Pass is a big, big thing for indie developers, and a lot of indie developers are actually advocating for it and like and are in full support of raising the price. Because honestly, a lot of the indie developers that get their games on Game Pass, they say it is the biggest. It's like the best way people play their games, right? Their games get out to way more people through Game Pass, and it help. And I love being able to help like indie developers out, and if it makes them a couple extra bucks, dude, and Game Pass sticks around longer, you know, that's not a bad thing. That's just my opinion.
Okay. AK, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, I think Xbox raising their prices is justified. I mean, I know a lot of people disagree with this, but they had a pretty good showcase recently, showcasing a lot of, you know, pretty good games and stuff like that. So I think it's not surprising that they're going to raise their prices. I know also for one of their tiers, they're not going to have day one game releases on there. I know that's something that they used to do. So I don't know. I mean, it might make people not want to use it anymore. I think it's a pretty good service, and I think it competes a lot with PlayStation Plus. I mean, PlayStation Plus is pretty expensive, and it also kind of like going back to Rex's point, I think it is really good for like indie developers because why I don't know, like a lot of people don't want to pay, you know, extra money to try out some of these newer games, but if it is included in like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus and stuff like that, it's going to be easier for them to, you know, pick it up, digest it, whatever. Because yeah, people don't like to give new things a try, and that's a whole another topic in itself. But I don't think it's that bad. That's my opinion.
Yeah, shout out to Blockbuster, man. Back in the day, you could rent a game for $5 and try it before you drop 60 on it, and now you can't do that. So I think that's why Game Pass is so awesome. Or even I'm subscribed to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus or whatever it is. I have the ultimate package where I get all the PlayStation retro games too. I like both of the services. I do think Game Pass is better than PlayStation's, but I hope PlayStation adds more games, especially like going back in their history of their library of PS1, PS2, PS3 games and adding that. But dude, being able to play Rogue Galaxy from the PS2 like on my PS5 and like on my 4K TV, it's pretty awesome. So I do like services like this. I don't think, you know, yeah, we're all physical collectors, we like physical games, but dude, Game Pass is dope, man. Like I really enjoy it, especially because when you subscribe to Game Pass, if you have a gaming PC, your one Game Pass account is good for your console and your PC. You don't have to have 2 separate subscriptions to play on both. So like I could be on my Xbox in the living room and then I want to jump on PC. I just log into my account. It's one fee and I can jump on my account on PC or the console. And there are games on PC that aren't available on the console version because they're PC only games. So, I feel like I get even more games at that point. It's a real good bang for your buck. For $20 a month, access to over like a couple hundred games, I think at this point. I mean, dude, indie games, like, come on, how many indie games you're like, it looks all right, but do I really want to spend 10 or 15 bucks on it and just test it out? Like, I don't really know if it's going to be good, in this way, dude, people are trying indie games left and right, games they would have never bought because they're not sure. People are a lot more frugal and careful with their money nowadays. And they're like, am I going to buy this game for $20? I don't know. And now they can just try it. Oh, I didn't like it. Delete it. Download another one. Oh, I love this one. Maybe they want to support the developer and actually buy it, because they were able to test it. It's like renting games again. It's pretty dope. I like it, man. I've had Game Pass since the launch of the Series X. So,
okay. Well, I guess I could share my thoughts. First, Retro Rob says maybe when I'm 70, he'll get caught up with his backlog. I think that's everybody.
That's everybody.
So I can agree with that. But first of all, let me just say, I don't know how people came to this conclusion last week. There was a couple people that seemed to thought that we felt that Game Pass going to Fire TV was a bad idea. We never said that. Game Pass is a phenomenal idea. So they're going to be able to reach the masses. And it's like the more, whether we're Xbox fans per se or not, the idea of Game Pass being more accessible even to the casual gamer is good for gamers as a whole. And I'm going to tell you why, because now that exposes more people to gaming or introduces them to it, and they may be willing to go down that rabbit hole of collecting and finding other content creators and things like that. So you got to look at the bigger picture. Like, no one was against it. It's a fantastic idea. And then bumping up the price, it seems like it's like $2 on each tier, and of course it's what, $15 on the yearly one, but kind of pay a premium for paying up front. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's a huge bump. And Game Pass is excellent, but simple fact that you have it, you can share it, like Rec was saying, and then there's a lot to be offered, especially like for indie gamers. That was one question that I had at the very beginning when they started Game Pass, was like, okay, now suppose people only buy Game Pass. How do these companies, how do they make out with their money if they're not selling for whatever the price was going to be? So I'm okay with them increasing the price just for, the benefit of supporting the developer. So I'm sure all that little bit counts. It seems like, it could be a lot to us, and it's definitely a lot to them on the grand scheme of things. So I'm all for it. I think, it's not a big deal. People shouldn't be losing their stuff, but every time when it comes down to money, people are, they're going to kind of lose their crap over it. Like, why am I paying this and I paid this for XYZ? But like Rex said, it's been $60 since like the beginning of time. So it's just like, to be like,
that's the thing, dude, is like,
that's a long time. That price was right there. Normally there's an increase.
Yeah, I remember buying the Xbox Live yearly 60, or 12-month for $60 card when I was a kid. My parents would buy it and we would get Xbox Live for a whole year for $60. And that was, what, almost 20 years ago. Holy crap, dude. Like, that's crazy. Like, since the 360 days. I don't remember dude, on the original Xbox, how much was Xbox Live on the original Xbox?
That's a good question. Anybody in the chat know? Drop that down in there, because I'm not sure. But
I used to play on the original Xbox Live and play Halo 2. And I don't remember what it cost to play Xbox Live back then. But I know the 360, it was $60 a year, which is not a bad deal. Everybody used to say, oh, well, the PlayStation 3s is free. It's like, yeah, but the PlayStation 3s was hacked every other month and your data was stolen every other month, and they ran that service terribly. So Xbox Live dominated the online gaming world, dude. Like, it really did.
That's very true.
Everybody was playing on Xbox.
So I'm looking up, someone's actually selling an original one on eBay.
like a starter kit.
No, it's like in the box. I wish I could share my screen.
It came with like the headset and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I remember that kit, dude. Like that's so
Can't see the
awesome.
price. There's no price on it though. That's the only thing. Yeah, there's no price on it. I wish I could see the price what it was back then. That'd be great.
I don't think Xbox Live was a monthly subscription back during the OG Xbox days, though, right? I think you just bought the kit and like plugged your thing in with an Ethernet cable, and you were off to the races. Because the original Xbox didn't have Wi-Fi, so you had to plug your Xbox into your modem directly to use it.
Yeah. I'm not sure because I know that was kind of like the online stuff kicking off and stuff like that. So who knows? I'm not really familiar like with those prices because I think PS2 theirs was free.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah, you had to have a modem and all that. I remember the SOCOM days on that. So that's interesting. So yeah, 2002. Yeah, it's not saying I can't find it, but I'm curious to know that information. So if anybody in the chat knows that, drop it down in the chat because I'm definitely curious to know about that. Now, on to the next topic. So this week is a pretty big release. I believe it's the beginning of the big push from Nintendo. So this week on the 18th is the release of the Nintendo World Championships NES edition, and it also comes with the, I believe, highly sought after collector's deluxe bundle that includes a replica gold card, got some cool game cards and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that release. Black Ranger, what do you think about it?
I am definitely excited for that. I did get my pre-order in. I'm still waiting to hear when it will be fulfilled, but definitely been waiting for that to come out. I always forget. I was actually just telling Marcus the other day, like I keep forgetting that I pre-ordered it, and I'll see an ad for it and be like, "Oh, I got to get that." Oh wait, I already pre-ordered. I'm good. So I'm definitely excited for that. I'll actually open this one because I still haven't opened my Tears of the Kingdom collector's edition. I guess I'm just collecting at that point, but I'm super excited for the Nintendo World Championship, and I think it'll be fun to get back to those old games and challenge family and friends. Playing on games they used to play growing up. I think it's a great idea, and I'm super excited about it.
Absolutely. AK, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a really good way to, bring back retro games to the Nintendo Switch, the modern day. Also, I think another really big point is, being able to play more couch co-ops. I know Nintendo is really big on that, and I wish it's something that PlayStation and probably, even Xbox would get better at is the couch co-ops, because that just, it could bring families together and stuff like that. We don't have enough. So I think, that's another good thing that's coming from this.
Absolutely.
Release. Yeah.
Totally agree. Requisite.
I pre-ordered mine. I'm excited to get it. I mean, for those of you who don't know, basically it is it's basically a replica or they're remaking like the early, the 90s Nintendo World Championships, and the, collector's edition or whatever, comes with the replica gold cart, like Marcus was saying, which is basically a replica of the original cart that was used at the events. There is a gray cartridge that was used at the Nintendo World Championships that all the competitors played on, and that goes for a lot of money. But then there is the gold cartridge that you could only get, I believe, through Nintendo Power, and you had to win it, and there was only 26 or 27 made ever. So if you have one of those Nintendo World Championship gold carts, I know Pat the NES Punk has one, and he also has a gray cart. Those are worth an obscene amount of money. Like I think the gray cartridges would probably go for close to between 60 and 100 grand for the gray cartridge, and then the gold cartridge, who knows? Like the gold cartridge, you're talking maybe half a mil, a couple 100,000 at least. So it's cool to get this set. I do have a gripe with it, though. I'm just gonna say this right now. When
Is this your hot take?
No, I got a good one for today. It's gonna piss a lot of people off. No,
you're pretty good at that.
So no, the one thing that bums me out, and tell me if you guys agree. So like the original Nintendo World Championships, it consisted of 3 games on a cartridge, right? It was, you had Rad Racer, you had Mario, and you had Tetris. And the idea is each one, it wasn't the full game. So basically with Rad Racer, you would try to complete the race the fastest, right? Then it would record your time. Then it would stock that. And then next you would go to Super Mario. I probably have these out of order, but anyway, you would go to Super Mario and you would collect a certain number of coins in a certain amount of time, right? Then you would go to Tetris and you would basically play Tetris until you died or you lost or whatever. And then it would take all three of those scores from all three games, add them together, and that was your overall score, and that was the competition, right? When I saw they announced this, I was like, dude, I am so stoked to get to play the way that they played in the competition back in the 90s. Turns out it's not that at all. It's only Nintendo World Championship in name. That is all this is. It is not really the championship cartridge that, it's not structured the way that they competed back in the day. It's literally speed runs. That's all it is. It's a bunch of NES games, and they want you to see how fast you can beat certain parts. It's a speed running cart, which is fine. But I wish they, in addition to all the cool little speed run challenges that are in the game, I wish they would have added a classic mode where you could play those three games the way that they played it back in the 90s. That would have made the most sense to me, and it kind of bummed me out that they didn't include that in the cartridge. So, I mean, it's cool still. I'm happy to have it. I'm probably not going to open it, if I'm being honest. It's going to sit on my shelf, and I'll probably buy a digital copy to play with my daughter. But I want to kind of keep it in the box just because I'm weird like that. I buy expensive cardboard and I never open it. So I think it's cool. I love when companies do stuff like this. I like when Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox do a callback to the old days. So I think it's dope. I'm excited to get it. And it was really affordable. I think it was like $50. 60. That's not bad. So, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. So my thoughts on it, I'm excited. I actually pre-ordered 2 copies. I was thinking about canceling one, just because, like, I figure a lot of times it's not a big price jump if you decide to sell something, if it's new or just in box. Like, normally if you got it in box, you're gonna kind of get that little bit of a premium, and new is not going to be too much of a jump. So I guess that's the way I look at it. Now one big thing that I want to ask you guys after I get through my point is, well, I'll just continue with this one, and then I ask. I just hope I retain the information. But overall, I think it's a good idea. And even to get to Rex's point, for one, there's updates, so they may add that, especially if it's a call for it, like if the fans want to see that. But also with the speed runs, I mean, essentially, kind of in a way, if you think about the original Nintendo World Championships, kind of was a speed run in a way, a little bit. But in this case, it's kind of modernizing it, so I think that's cool. And then also be able to pay couch co-op, and then also compare your scores online with people. Like, that broadens it. And I can see them doing like a whole kind of competition thing with that, where they have something live and it's with a bunch of people online. Like, I can see that happening. And also wanted to point out, like they said, this is the NES edition. So clearly they have plans of making other versions of this, whether that's going to be on the next Nintendo console or come out on this one as well. I don't know. But one point that I wanted to make that I think a lot of people missed is that Nintendo, this was for us, our age bracket. Well, some of us, the older generation, because this wasn't for anybody younger than us, because they wouldn't remember, So I think that's excellent that Nintendo actually cares about the fans. That's a prime example of the way that they care about the fans, because nobody else is really doing that, not going that far back to say, hey, let's get in touch with our audience that kind of grew up with us. I think that's awesome. So I want to know you guys' thoughts on that, like how you guys perceive that perspective. We start with AK.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that they're making, or pretty much, remaking old games. I think, a lot of companies do that, but then they fail at doing it, kind of going back to what Reg was saying about, like changing, the way you play the game and stuff like that. It almost reminds me of what's it called? The GTA Definitive Edition, when they remade San Andreas, and it was like a couple other ones as well, but like it just came out like completely broken, and all the like Mechanics and stuff was just all over the place, and it just ended up failing. So I mean, I guess I'm just curious, to see how it's gonna work when they bring this out and how it's gonna play and if it's gonna be glitchy. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be glitchy because usually Nintendo is pretty clean, but that's just proven record of like other people doing it and it doesn't work. So I'm just curious if it's gonna work well.
That's true. Black Ranger.
I definitely think that's great. You don't get a lot of things made for the older generations. Like these are things that even as I was a kid, my dad or my mom, my older sisters would play with me. So it's like, oh, now that something new is coming out, hey, they might be interested in playing that again instead of just, a lot of the older crowd likes to go and be, oh, let's play Wii Sports or something like that. But you got something new on the Switch that encompasses everything they grew up with or everything they played when they were younger. And it's like now you can bridge the gap between that older generation and the newer one because everybody wants to speed run now. You see it a lot on YouTube and things like that. So to be able to bring the younger crowd who wants to do speed runs and beat their parents or their older cousins or something like that at a speed run and be like, I'm better at your games than you are. That's what's going to make it great. It's going to just be tons of family competitions. It's going to be like spades in the black household. Like it's just going to.
That's facts. It's definitely coming. What do you think about it, Rick?
Dude, I love when companies remake the games from our childhood and give us quality of life upgrades, some graphical upgrades, but keep the core game the same. So I think it's great. I think it's fun. I wish more companies would do it, but do it right. Like AK was talking about that definitive edition for Grand Theft Auto. So it was Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Basically the three main PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Autos. And it was garbage. It was pretty broken. I had got it on Xbox and I just wasn't crazy about it. I'd rather pop in my original copies on my PS2. But when it's done right, it's pretty awesome. Like, Luigi's Mansion 2 just came out, Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door just came out. Mario RPG just came out. So it's cool when they do these kinds of things. And Marcus, after you give your thoughts, this is a great segue or a great topic. I have a question for the three of you. So I want to hear what your thoughts are, but then I want to ask this question because I think it goes with this topic for sure.
Well, I kind of already gave my thoughts, but I'll reiterate it briefly and quickly. So basically, I just appreciate not only them remaking it, but they are like I said, this was more for the original fan base. This wasn't for the kids. They don't know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate that Nintendo just has the thought process to focus on the people who helped build them up. I think that's awesome. Like you might get releases or remakes of certain games, but they weren't that long ago. Like to go back that far, 30 something years, I could just appreciate it. But Rec, what you got?
So my question to all of you, including everybody in chat, is since we're talking about games being brought back from the past, if you could pick one game to get a remake, a remaster, or a sequel that never got a sequel, it could be any of those three things. Any game in history, what game would that be?
Wow.
What game would you remaster, remake, or give a sequel to? That's a good one, dude. Come on.
I have an idea, but when you kind of made it a very deep question when you said in history, like, because it makes me want to put a lot of thought into it. But I have my idea. That kind of it changed the playing field a little bit. But if I could see a remake or just another version, Kid Icarus.
Oh yeah,
on 3DS. I got it
on a home console on the Switch, right?
Yeah. Nah, we need that.
Kid Icarus needs some more love, dude. Like,
yeah.
I think.
Can you imagine that on the Switch?
That would be dope,
oh my
dude.
God, like, yeah, that's my pick, Kid Icarus for sure.
Okay, AK, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so this again is kind of a deep question, but the first thing that came to my mind was Jak and Daxter. Now,
okay,
I don't know if I want them to make another one because I know they came out with Jak and Daxter Lost Frontier and it was trash. So if they're gonna make if they're gonna make another one, I think they need to bring it back to Naughty Dog and really put some work into it. But I'd love to see it remastered and stuff because that was my favorite game as a
Yeah.
child. But yeah, if they're gonna make another one, they're gonna need to do some thinking because honestly, the series got worse for me as the games
Right.
kept going on. But I loved the first one, so if they could somehow bring it back to the roots and figure it out, then I'd love to see it. But I don't have high hopes.
You know what? AK, I would love to see them bring back Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, and Ratchet and Clank, the first 3 games from all 3 of those platforming series, and give us like a collection of each one, the first 3 games from each one on like the PS4 and PS5. Like that would be dope because they did those collections on PS3, but they kind of stopped right there. It would be nice to see them updated and get those 9 games like on the PS5. Like that would be dope. So I think that's a solid choice, especially because Jack and Daxter is awesome, man. Like I would love to see that franchise come back as long as it's done right.
Exactly.
I think Spyro and Crash Bandicoot have been handled pretty well with their, the Reignited trilogy or the Insane trilogy or Crash 4. So if they could give those games that kind of treatment, I think that would be dope for sure. All right, Black Ranger, what's your choice?
You're making this hard. Pause. But I was thinking, and I know this will never happen because the company's not even here, but I want a remake or a remaster of Nights in the Dreams from the Sega Saturn because it was awesome. Like,
oh yeah, okay,
that was an awesome game, but we don't have Sega anymore, so it's not gonna happen.
Well, Sega's around.
We don't have Sega anymore. Okay,
Sega's around.
We just got the company as far as the
software
name,
based. That's kind of right up.
But no, the console is.
You're saying you only want to see it on a Sega console. Am I getting that right? Okay, that's fair enough. But I kind of feel like Sega gonna get another push. It's my personal opinion.
If they would just make the Dreamcast Mini, it would be great.
No, I want, as a Nintendo guy, I want a new Sega console.
It would fail miserably.
I don't think so.
It would fail miserably. Nobody would buy that shit. You know who would buy that shit? People that still think the Dreamcast was ahead of its time and a good console.
Wait a minute. You ain't to say that. That's gotta be a hot take of the week.
I jumped ahead. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Look, okay, so the game that I would like to see get a remake and remaster.
We ain't just gonna smudge over that like it didn't happen. We coming back to this. But
so the game that I would love to see get a remake, remaster, or hell, a sequel, because I know it deserves it. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Cross was not a sequel. It's set in the same universe, but it's not the same. And I would love to see Chrono Trigger get the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment. Like I would love to see that and have them remake the game from the ground up. That or give us a sequel to Chrono Trigger, like a real sequel to Chrono Trigger. Like that would be pretty dope, I think. And I think a lot of Nintendo fans are asking for, or a lot of just, well, shit, it was on the PS1 also. So yeah, I think that just gaming fans in general, RPG fans, like they would throw their wallet, their whole bank account at you if you told them Chrono Trigger was coming and it looked like Final Fantasy VII remake, or we were getting a direct sequel. Like people would lose it. So Chrono Trigger would be a big one for me for sure. Oh, and I'm sorry, one more. You know how like Zelda has Link's Awakening, and now they got the new Zelda game coming out in that like kind of cute art style.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that same art style and give me a remake of Link to the Past, please. and a Link Between Worlds that was on the 3DS. Like both of those games, give me those in the Link's Awakening art style, like a new remaster in that way. That would be so dope, dude.
Yeah. I could agree with Chrono Trigger, but what I was getting at was they did make it on the DS. So that was kind of a remake, and that's the ideal way to play it, according to a lot of people. I just recently picked that up myself.
It's also on Steam too. Like if you wanted to buy it on Steam, you could play it on your PC and it's like $10.
Yeah. So, there's other ways to do it, but I do like the thought of them creating that Final Fantasy VII remake like kind of creating it like the original one was kind of just straight up turn based, and they made it action RPG. That's more
Yeah,
my lane now. Yeah, if they did that and like, woo, that
that'd
would
be
be
dope, dude. I
man,
think
that would
that
be something.
I think they should take all the JRPGs that we grew up with that are turn based and give them the Final Fantasy VII treatment, dude. Like
Yeah, definitely,
that would be dope, dude. Like Legends of Dragoon or any of those games, man. Like that would be sick to me. Like if they did that, but
absolutely. Yep,
Nobody
that's
said
true.
Earthbound. Nobody wants to see it. A remake of Earthbound.
dude, Earthbound. Okay, I'm not even. I have one hot
Oh
take
my
enough already,
Ooh.
bro. I'm sorry, but like Earthbound, really, dude. Like Earthbound is not even that good, dude. It's boring. I'm sorry. It's so boring. It
it's
puts me to
better than
sleep.
Kuon. Yeah, so let's
I mean, I can't. I've just started Kuon. It's not that bad. But here's the thing.
the fact that you have to say that it's not that bad means that it is
Look,
that bad.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As a collector, like, can we stop BSing for a second and stop pretending like any of these games are really worth over $1,000? There is no game that is that fun that is worth over $1,000. You're gonna tell me that Flintstones at Dinosaur Peak or Little Samson is worth $2,000? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't care how fun it is. I don't care if Skyrim was $2,000. Sorry, Skyrim, you're my favorite game, but I'll never play you again for $2,000. Straight up, never. None of them are worth that kind of money. That is insane to me. There is no amount of fun I'm going to get out of Kuon for $1,000. Like,
Well, the biggest difference between those is, Little Samson and Flintstones, they came out a long time ago. So for the sake of being retro and borderline vintage compared to Kuon, which
yeah, but
I guess
Kuon is
it branch
still 20 years old at this point. I mean, we're getting up there, dude. We're getting up there. You're closer to 50 than you are in your 20s. Are you? Wait, how old are you? You're an old man now.
I'm trying to keep it PG. So you can fill in the blanks. Anyway. So on the other big release news, so apparently I haven't like officially seen this, but I'm gonna look it up. Apparently they started pre-orders for the new Legend of Zelda Nintendo Switch Lite version. So I want to know you guys' thoughts on that. I got my pre-order in, so I'm happy. I'm super happy about that because I definitely wanted that. So I want to know y'all opinions on that.
I'll go. Why not?
What? Pre-ordering the new Zelda console?
Or what do you think about it? Just your thoughts on it.
I mean, it's gonna sell out. I'll say that. I mean, so yeah, you probably want to definitely good to be able to get the pre-order in. It's not a lot of. I'll say it's not a lot of buzz about it because everybody. It's not all over social media like, oh, go get your pre-order now. But if you stumble upon it, yeah, you can get it. It looks dope, and for somebody like me who has a one of a kind Switch, maybe I do want to order that. But for those who hop on pretty early, yeah, I think it's great that you can pre-order it because that'll be a day one pickup for most people, especially with the new game. It looks great. I think I'm just waiting until the next system, whatever it will be. I love my one of a kind Switch.
No, you
The pod, you guys love it. I'm just sorry, chat, you haven't seen it yet because it is amazing.
that should be your pickup for the week. Show everybody that hot piece of plastic.
It
So-
is for sure that.
So real quick, I'm gonna jump in. So on the according to Nintendo Life, the pre-orders went live 2 days ago. I don't know how I missed it, and I honestly I haven't really seen a lot about it on social media like that, which is kind of crazy. But don't sleep. Don't think that people don't know, because I'm telling you, once that happens, it's gonna be lit. So if you are even remotely curious about that thing, I would pre-order it, honestly. And I also feel like that in comparison to the Switch OLED, I think they're going to be less of these because the OLED was still relatively new and they were pushing the sales of that. Like this is kind of like, all right, we're going to give you special edition, give us a little push of sales, but the OLED was way different. So I feel like that's why there were a lot more of those available, just because it's kind of like that's the actual full console. So that's just my thoughts and my opinion on that. But I mean, overall, I think it's awesome looking. It's definitely a collector's item. I think at one point I thought about getting two because stuff like that, but if it's Zelda, Mario, or one of the big names on Nintendo, if they have like collector's edition consoles, maybe not right away, but you give it like 5-6 years, and that thing is sealed. Oh, it's worth some money. Like if that's your thought process, if you're gonna make a few dollars off of it, give that like 10 years and then go take that to a convention for trade. See what you
Scumbag
get for it.
reseller.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Scumbag reseller.
That's not really scumbaggish
No,
because that's
it's
like
like-
10 years down the road. Now, if I did it tomorrow, I mean, it wouldn't be scumbaggish because I would like to pay for mine for free, like I did my
Okay,
Tears of the Kingdom collector's edition.
I'm all for it.
That was borderline. AK, did you give your thoughts on it? What you thought about?
No, I didn't. I think it's super cute. It's selling for $210. I see, so not too bad of a price. I think Nintendo is really good with putting out these special editions. I remember when I first got my Switch, I was kind of mad because I was kind of buying it in a rush because it kept selling out. This was during the virus going on, but I think I was in a rush trying to buy it, and I saw that they also had the what's it called, the Animal Crossing version of the Switch, and I was so mad I didn't pick that one up because I'm a huge fan of Animal Crossing. But yeah, this Zelda one, I think it looks really nice, and I think if you're a huge Zelda fan, which I know a lot of my friends are, I think it's a good pickup, and definitely pre-order it if you want it because I'm sure it's gonna go pretty quick.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I think Mike's frozen, literally.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to. I guess while Mike unfreezes himself. I'm sorry. I just looked. That looks funny. I guess he
falls
will.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is live issues, people. But let's get into our pickups of the week. Anybody want to start with that?
I
Well,
guess
Not be Mike.
No, because I feel like you got something good, AK and Alyssa, and I don't want to go after that. Okay, so
no.
I haven't had any real pickups because I've been traveling and doing a bunch of stuff after that. But I did have one that came before I left, and I showed I showed our friends in the podcast it, but I didn't get to show it actually. It's this Nintendo Switch dock that I got on Amazon for like $20 or like 27, and it's awesome. Like the power button right there, that's for your Joy Cons. You can put your Joy Cons here to charge, and you can store your games right here. Like it's pretty dope. Dock your Switch, it got all the same input and output and everything, so it's actually really sweet and super cheap, lightweight. So you can just have Switch docks all over the place. You can keep your backlog of games here, whatever your favorite ones. So this is pretty dope. Everybody go on Amazon and get one.
That is pretty dope. Yeah, it
And,
is. It looks cool.
That's I ain't got nothing else interesting over here.
Jesus. AK, what you got?
Yeah, so as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I went to the gaming store, retro gaming store, and picked up some PSP games. I know some of my audience has seen this already because I recently just did a PSP video, but I picked up Ratatouille,
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories,
That's a goodie.
and Thrillville.
Okay.
So yeah, right now I'm only really picking up games that like have a nostalgia tie to me, but definitely I'm gonna start picking up more and more, as I see them. But it was kind of unfortunate though, because like every time I go to the gaming store and look at like the PSP games, most of them are like sports games, like NBA 2K 2005 or whatever, like the randomest thing. So
Right.
yeah, it's very slim pickings, but I'm finding them slowly but surely.
Yeah, sometimes unfortunately it's like that, just I I understand. Trust me, I get it. I wish we can go to thrift stores and flea markets like some people in their areas. But
Right.
I'll show some of my pickups. If you didn't watch my recent video of my vlog from Southeast Game Exchange, please go check that out. It's very, very good. And I showed this pickup. It's World of a Nintendo Lite. It does plug in. I don't want to do that right now, but this was courtesy of Retro Beard. So shout out to him. Shout out to Adam. I love this. I wanted this in SoCal, and I finally got it. So yeah, I just gotta find where I'm gonna put it up in the game room. But that was a lot. That was not a lot, but it was a great addition. And I'm gonna link his information in the description because he does do custom ones too, in case anybody in the chat wants to purchase one on one of you guys. Another one that was shown in the video and follow my channel, which I hope you were. Did you know I was looking for this game, NBA Streets Volume 3? So if you look, this one is special because it has the Nintendo All Stars Peach, Mario, and Luigi as playable characters. It's took a minute to find. I was shocked. Like I went to too many games and no vendor had it. I did see it maybe 2 or 3 times at Southeast Game Exchange, which even with that, that's kind of insane because like that convention was huge. So to only see it 2-3 times at that convention kind of says I'm not gonna put out there that it's rare. It's just a little difficult to find. It's not expensive. They can get them for anywhere from $30 to $60. Just really depends. And another thing I picked up, I haven't opened it yet because I actually want to do a small review on. I picked up this mini Nintendo Switch dock. So it's pretty much like a plug and play, but very small, like you don't have to sit it in. You just kind of plug it in. And I wanted this to kind of take on the go. So I wanted something smaller. I used to have a smaller dock, but it's gone. But I believe I paid like $15 or something like that for this. So I'm excited about that. And then I got real quick, got a gift from shout out to Drinks and Games with Josh. Hooked me up this NES sleeve,
Nice.
custom NES sleeve. So it's pretty cool. But for the most part, those are my pickups for the week. And we want to apologize to the chat because Mr. Rec Wizard is currently frozen. So we're waiting on him to thaw out. And should be by next week. He was having internet issues in his area. So unfortunately, he had to cut out. But let's get into some hot takes of the week.
Yeah.
Anybody have a hot take?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Every week I
Let's-
got one. So my hot take for the week is I don't think, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, I don't think Xbox's showcase was that bad, and I don't think Xbox is as bad as people are making them out to be. I think they have been, but I think it's slowly but surely getting better because, like I said, their showcase was not bad. Like a lot of the games on there, like I was actually genuinely interested in, and they partnered with like a lot of other companies to showcase their games in their showcase and stuff like that. So I think they're trying to make a push, and it might not be the push that like everybody necessarily expected or wanted to see, but I do think they are making some traction. So yeah, that's my hot take.
Yeah, and that's a great point actually. I think that sometimes as fans, like we always push for things that are like that can just happen, like just like that, and it's kind of unfair treatment in a way. People just want everything to change overnight. Like regardless, Xbox is gonna have the diehard fans, but I'm the biggest fan of Xbox and not. They're part of gaming history, so it's never anything where I neglect. I'm Nintendo to heart, but like I still love the game, and like so it's never just like dismissive. I may not personally like care for them like that, but at the same time, they're definitely changing their reputation, and it's really down to choice and preference because some people prefer what Xbox is doing. I just personally don't, but that doesn't mean like they're the worst and don't buy them. Like everybody has their choice, and some people grew up on Xbox and They stand with what they grew up on, same as I stayed with Nintendo. But Black
Mhm.
Ranger, what's your hot take of the week?
What can I put into words? I had one earlier when Rec was talking, and it's kind of slipped away from me at this point. But give me like 2.5 minutes. I'll have something. Just look at me for 2.5 minutes. Don't even say anything. I'm gonna just sit here and think it's like
No one
um
wants to do that, sir.
hey, you watch your mouth, sir. So, um I have something. It's coming back. Like just give me a
Okay.
little bit.
Well, while Black Ranger gets his hot take together. Okay, actually, this is a good point. So, Rack Wizard from the chat says Dreamcast is Saturn or vast. You know what?
Mhm.
He really is like hell bent on getting this canceled. They're gonna hate this show with these hot takes. So that'll give us a chance to react to that. I'm gonna leave that on the screen. I want you guys in the chat to react to that too. Dreamcast and Saturn are vastly overrated. You know, and I also want to say he pissed me off when he said Dreamcast wasn't ahead of his time. Now, mind you, you guys know how big of a Nintendo fan I am. Still to this day, there was nothing like when Dreamcast first came out. Like it was so far ahead of its time. Like it's really that good of a console. They just made some mistakes, which Sega was prone to doing. They made some mistakes that cost them. It wasn't that the system was a failure or wasn't good, because indie developers are still making new Dreamcast games to this day, and it has a diehard fan base, not just because of Sega. Like, no, it's really, really a good console. So, AK, what do you think about that comment from our fellow
Yeah,
fellow
so I mean,
co-host?
honestly, I haven't played Dreamcast or Saturn, that much. I don't know if it's due to my age, but but I do know that honestly, personally, from what I've heard of it, I think it's made big strides. I did take some gaming classes and stuff like that, and I know it's like one of the first bigger things to come out and stuff like that. So I think it has made an impact on some people, but maybe not to Rec. But I know I know it's made an impact to a lot of people. So yeah.
Black Ranger, your thoughts on your
He's,
buddy's comments there?
see that it's a Sunday. That was the Lord telling Rec not even to say it. That's why he took his internet away. He said, don't even bring that to the chat. All right. It super ahead. I mean, just from the design of the controller, the VMU. Look,
Mm-hmm.
the VMU is the reason why you have you know the PlayStation Portal now. Okay, because you get, what I'm saying, like it was like carrying around a Tamagotchi inside the Dreamcast. Like it was just super cool to have the VMU. Everybody, and when I was in middle school, you see everybody opening their zipper on their book bag, like, hey, got my VMU. The games were fun. It was one of the first waves of like internet gaming, even though it was super hard to connect. But that's back when we had AOL and dial-up and everything. So it was like there was nothing like it. They started making all the different, you had the different collector's editions, the sports edition, and all that. And now you see everybody coming out with different editions of their consoles. Like Dreamcast was amazing. I won't say necessarily the Saturn was super, ahead of its time, but it wasn't overrated. I don't give either one of them super overrated. They were great. I mean, one of the reasons I see, or I, you know, attribute to the failing of it was the hype around what else was coming out.
Right.
You got that when the PlayStation first came out, people were like, "Holy crap, Sony's putting something out. It's a new entrance into the console wars." And Nintendo was always going to be Nintendo. They were always the powerhouse, all right? So it was like, well, do I get a Sega system, or do I try this new Sony thing? And everybody wanted to try the new Sony thing. And then Microsoft entered, and Halo, and so it was a lot of hype around that. It wasn't as much hype around the Dreamcast, but it was amazing. All right, to this day,
Yeah,
my Dreamcast is right here, and I have two of them. I don't know where the second one came from. I don't know where the first one came from. Really, I think I stole it, but
it's a thief.
I might have. But it's here. Okay, it's a live wreck. You're lying wreck.
He's definitely a liar. And he says PS2, Xbox, and GameCube were far superior in that generation. Now, that's a question in itself. Would you put Dreamcast in that generation? Because it came out before the Xbox, for sure. Because the Xbox was the spiritual successor to the Dreamcast. So kind of can't put them in comparison with that. I mean, I guess it depends on personal preference, but at the time, if it wasn't for we got to blame ourselves a little bit in the game community. We want to burn and copy games. That's what killed Dreamcast ultimately. It killed them, you know, because I feel like if that wasn't the case, then they definitely had stuff to stand on. They had NBA 2K and NFL 2K, which were phenomenal. Those to me the best in the series on the Dreamcast. You had Ready to Rumble boxing. Crazy Taxi initially came out on there. There's so many things that started with that Dreamcast that opened the doors that definitely could have held it down. Sonic Adventure series. What's the one game? Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. 4-player co-op. Oh my God, it's a popular one. It's not Fantasy Star, but that Fantasy Star Online was on there. I can't remember the name. I hope somebody in the chat can remember, but it was a co-op like kind of beat 'em up style game. It was really good. I can't remember, but nevertheless, yeah, my hot take of the week is that Rec Wizard, something seriously wrong with him. That's my hot take. I don't know where he gets these ideas from, but maybe it's he's losing himself and trying to figure out how he's going to collect all these PS2 games, and I think he's kind of getting lost. He's getting beside himself. So that's what I think. But we're approaching that time, so we are going to conclude this week's episode. So, upon letting everybody know where to find you guys, I also want you to let the chat and the people know what they can expect from your channel coming forward. Let's start with Mr. Black Ranger.
Yes, you guys. You can find me everywhere by my handle, Black Ranger, no C. Coming from my channel. Well, for one, I'll be doing some catch-ups. I've been slacking on my typical unboxings for about 4 or 5 months, so I have a stack of boxes that I can unbox and make that interesting. And then finally gonna start diving deeper into my N64, not necessarily the journey, but the actual games and gameplay. And people will actually see how terrible I am at video games. And I just want, that's not a hot take. I want people to know this. You don't have to be good at games to enjoy playing games. All right. You can suck because I'm trash at most things, video game wise, not life, but video games. But the ones I'm good at, I'm good at. But you can suck and still be a gamer. It's
For
true.
sure.
I reckon. AK, what you got?
Yeah, so you can find me at AK Games on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I just did a PSP video. You guys should go check that out. Next week, I'm thinking of possibly doing a video on the downfall of the PSVR 2. So yeah, and I do a lot of gaming analysis and stuff like that, and I highlight sometimes the game pickups I do over there as well. So yeah, it's always a great time. Come check it out.
Awesome. So, well, I just dropped you can find me at Video Game Voter on everything. I just dropped a vlog video for Southeast Gaming Shane. Make sure you go check that out. Phenomenal video, if I can say so myself. I think I did good. Next week episode is going to be big. So, like big. So you guys should definitely pay attention to that one. And the week following that one should be big as well. So I got some big things coming, channels growing. I appreciate you guys' support. I hope you guys support the other creators as well as we build this platform. And thank everybody in the chat for coming out and giving your opinion and you're sharing your thoughts and stuff like that. And just continue to support the podcast. We're going to get all the shows uploaded to the podcast platforms, and we're still building that channel, guys, and that's going to be linked in the description as well. So when you get a chance, make sure you subscribe to the upcoming Retro Podcast channel, and it's also we start streaming live strictly from that channel. So with that being said, signing off. We will see you guys next Sunday.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Live long and prosper.